Bring in Brain Jacks.
Welcome to Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Torrento and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Burl in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Sportsline. Tonight, the Monday before Christmas. How about that? We are so close now.
There.
We are so close now. It is right around the corner. Mike Pavlik here, George Kaido along tonight. Bob's got basketball tonight, I believe.
Yes, you got
Pearl
St. Joe's and
game.
Pearl basketball.
So you just leave channel 190 on your TV, and some point this week you'll see the game, because I'm not exactly sure what night it's on, because I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not exactly sure what night the games that I'm doing are on. So things are a little different than they used to be. So
Pick up the newspaper and follow
we're doing the best we
listings.
can to keep you informed. For the Highlands games, go to alikiskievents.com, and we have the schedule on there. You can look there if you like.
There you go.
So we're doing the best we can to keep you occupied with that. George, Steelers yesterday, where was that been all season?
Yeah, you know, what a difference it is on games when the Steelers get that early lead instead of playing from behind every game. What a difference it makes, and last night was a perfect example of that. Go up 21-0.
The special teams were a big part of it. The punt return, the kicker missing, the punter missing the snap, but that was all the win. And you could even see when they put Nugent into punt after Huber was knocked out of the game that he had to go 2 steps to his left just to get the ball, because the wind in that 15 yards the ball was going back was being moved that far. And you've been down there when it's windy. You know what it's like. It's very difficult.
Wild winds defines field.
It is crazy. So they win that one. They're still alive. And we're going to do rules and regulations now. And after that, I am going to quickly tell you what needs to happen. It's a 9-team parlay for the Steelers to make the playoffs. And I have it committed to memory. So we'll see if we can do it. So let's take a look at the rules. Let's take a look at the rules and regulations here tonight. You can win a prize every other week per household. And you see the phone number up there in the corner, 724-236-0430. You can win a Grand Salami Prize with a mystery profile only once per calendar month. You can try the mystery profile once a calendar month. And multiple choice will give you 15 seconds, 20 seconds for the Grand Salami questions as we go down those. And the mystery profile, we slide down clue by clue. First time caller, you get 2 or more prizes with the correct answer. And a lot of times, if you haven't called for a long time, we can re-invoke your first time caller status. And then you can, if you ask nicely, doubledribblebob.com is where you can go. You'll find answers to the questions. And also, if you want to watch the show in live streaming, if you're watching this on a Thursday on channel 190, live streaming it, you can go right off of Bob's website to get it, and tune into Bob's radio show Saturday mornings at 10 a.m. on WAVL 910 on your AM dial. So
channel your inner Jim Colony. Jim Colony had that on the radio this morning. What has to happen for the Steelers to make the playoffs?
It's a lot of twos.
Yes.
2 things have to happen in many areas. 2 Steeler wins, okay? Baltimore needs to lose 2 of the 3 games they have left.
Which is possible.
Which puts the Steelers in second place in the AFC North. So that's one thing that has to happen. Now, second place in the AFC East needs to be the Jets. For that to happen, Miami needs to lose 2, and the Jets need to win 2. The last game of the season is Jets at Miami. By the way, Miami's going to play in Buffalo. These things are not going to happen. So that's 2, 4, 6, 8 things. There's 8 teams in your 19 parlay. And the 9th thing that needs to happen is San Diego needs to lose 1 game. That's all. That's it.
Sounds so easy.
That's all.
It's so much easier if you've beaten bad teams like Tennessee and Minnesota.
Here's me yesterday. After the 1 o'clock game, and I went outside for a while, leaving the house saying, well, this is good now, because now that the Steelers are eliminated, we don't have to worry about we don't have to worry about any of the rest of what's going on. We can just watch the games nicely. And so I come back in, and at halftime of the 4 o'clock game, they show them still over there going, how is that possible? I thought if Miami won, Miami beat Pittsburgh.
Right, yeah, that's what I thought. Miami gets a tiebreaker.
But I guess if it all works out where the Jets win 2 and Miami loses 2, that the Jets get second, they'd be 8-8. And you see the mess. It's not going to happen. And frankly, you wonder if Aaron Rodgers is going to come back this week, which would make it very difficult for the
Well, they're still in it.
To win in Green Bay. Well, of course they are, because the dumbest team in the National Football League is probably Dallas. The second dumbest team is probably Detroit. So if the only reason that Detroit should have run away with this by now, and then the Bears came back and beat Cleveland yesterday, so they're now sitting in the perch. Ravens, Lions, Monday night is the big one there to see what happens. So chances are, they're not.
Well, again, if you beat Tennessee and Minnesota, teams like that, we wouldn't be talking about
now isn't when this happened. This happened in September.
Yeah.
And they've played since those first 4 games, and they've had their bye. They really haven't been bad. They've been a mediocre team since then. But now that's just not going to be good enough, and so that'll take care of that. So let's take our break. We have a caller lined up. We'll take our first commercial break of the night, and we will be back right after this.
380 Auction and Discount Warehouse, Route 380, Murraysville.
See us first for holiday decorations and supplies. Our entire inventory's on sale at discount prices. Don't wait. Supplies are limited. Since you'll spend less than you thought on decorations, see us for gifts. Our inventory of new name brand furniture, tools, housewares, pet supplies, automotive supplies, and toys are also on sale at discount prices.
Get to 380 Auction and Discount Warehouse today, Route 380, Murraysville.
Arnold Furniture has been the area's favorite furniture store for over 37 years. The selection just can't be beat. 4 floors of living room, dining room, recliners, bedding and accessories, and so much more. You'll always find friendly personal service from the Miller family, and you'll love the prices where we consistently beat the competition. Plus, free local delivery, free setup, and free removal of your old furniture guaranteed. Visit Arnold Furniture online at arnoldfurniturinc.com or stop in and see us today.
Is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
At Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have the luxury of choice. Where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanto and let Tower Auto Sales' experienced sales staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle. Remember the slogan at Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. That's Tower Auto Sales, Freeport Road in Blawnox. Call 412-828-6202. And we are back. Mike, we have our first caller of the evening set to go.
Let's do it. Tony is up. Tony, good evening.
Hello.
There you are.
Hello there.
How are you?
We're doing okay. Hey, Josh, there you go. Thank you. Yeah. Nothing. Go ahead.
All right. If my aunt had a beard, she might be my uncle.
That too. Well, I just figured
that's what we talk about every year. Oh, if they beat this team, or if they beat that team, or if they do this, if they... just do it, baby.
Exactly. I just figured I'd throw it all out there so we could get the stipulation.
That's right. Clark, he runs at the mouth, but he doesn't do anything else. He likes to hit guys after they catch the ball. Just go out there and play ball.
Here's the good news. I was talking with friends when I were watching the game last night, and I said, you know what the good news about all this is? Only 2 more games in him.
I understand. But where's this game been all year?
Yeah.
If they play half as good as they did yesterday, they would have won a couple more games.
They probably would have. And it's what George said, though. It's getting the lead makes such a difference. Yeah. And, their defense isn't very good. But when you put a team in a 21-point hole, it severely limits what they can do. Right. And that any defense can play with a lead like that, unless you're the Cowboys.
And the Steelers were able to put it in cruise control for most of the second half.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yes, they usually do, put it in cruise control. But this time they were ahead. Far enough. But,
exactly. It played some power ball and kicked some field goals.
Well, you know what? P. Rozelle got his parody, didn't he?
He
Boy,
sure
he
does
sure
this year,
does.
doesn't he?
Huh? He
I'll
sure
tell-
did. Boy,
if you
he's
s-
smiling from up above.
If you sit down and try to figure out who's going to come out of the AFC, it's very difficult to figure. It really
Yep.
is.
Now, I remember Chuck Noll in '79 screaming and hollering about Pete Rozelle that he has the officials controlling the game, especially Pittsburgh games. And then there was an article in a magazine where Pete Rozelle says, "I do not like to see Pittsburgh win." So,
Well, he
boys
said
and
he
girls,
doesn't-
if you
I
think,
think-
they can't fix games, think again.
I think his
Again.
exact words were something like that. He doesn't like to see the same team win over and over again, and I think he was alluding to Pittsburgh because the Steelers were so dominant then. Those were the days.
But where was this? Where was these guys back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s when Pittsburgh was getting ground into the game, into the ground every game? Because let's see, my first game, Steelers 49. That was my first Steeler game in 49, and I had to go through 50s and the 60s watching that garbage.
Well,
I mean,
I'll tell
they
you-
play hard. Don't get me wrong. They always had a great defense, which was amazing. You say, well, defense was championships. Well, it didn't help the Steelers.
Right.
Teams would say, and this was stated by many teams, well, we got Pittsburgh today. It's going to be a win, but, boy, we're going to be black and blue after this game.
Yeah, Jimmy Brown always said for years, then they played the Steelers twice, of course, being in the same division,
Right.
but he says when you play Pittsburgh, you felt it the next morning, and this was whom I consider the greatest running back of all time.
Exactly. And, yeah, I remember I read an article about this rookie. I forgot what team he was in, Green Bay. I don't know, somebody. But they were coming in to play Pittsburgh. And the kid said something to one of the veterans like, oh, wow, Pittsburgh, this is going to be an easy game. I was supposed to get in today, start. He said, son, we're going to beat them, but, boy, you're going to be black and blue the next morning. And they woke him up real quick.
Yeah.
But, hey, well, and then, like I said, it was miserable football. It was terrible football. And where was all the people saying, well, I wish Pittsburgh wouldn't lose as many games as they did. There was nobody around it. They didn't care back then. But, hey, that's the way it goes, guys.
Yeah.
What's your thought on the winning a game versus the draft pick thing? I know when I sit down to watch a game, I want to see them win, and I'll worry about the draft pick when the season's over and it shakes out.
There'll be enough to
I
worry
can't
about
sit
when
there
the
and say,
draft
"Boy, I
pick
really wish we'd lose this game." It's like now if Aaron Rodgers comes back next week and the Packers beat us after the game, I'll say, "Well, you know what? That'll help us out in the long
Now,
run." And that's how you deal with that. But I can't root for my team to lose.
At one time, that was always a thought in my mind. A thought. The way they screw up the draft choices, I don't care anymore.
Exactly.
They could be the first one. They could be the first 10. It doesn't make a difference. The way they, of course, now all of a sudden a couple of them seems to be coming through. Like Hayworth, he's playing,
playing
great.
better in Worlds.
It's
he's
been
playing
taking
great.
a while. Yeah, Jason
Yeah.
World's another one.
Yeah, and and I couldn't figure out. He was great at Ohio State, but he had, like I said, it's in his blood. To be tough and good. And I said, there's something wrong here. This kid should be playing a lot better. Well, finally he's coming through, and a couple other guys, and which is nice. But what boggles my mind is when a team's kicking off us, and I see Dwyer standing in the end zone to run back a kickoff.
Worse than that is to see Felix Jones back there.
Well, yeah, both of them. They both do. They timed those guys in a 40 with a sundial. That's how slow they are.
I don't. Why isn't Emmanuel Sanders back there to return a kickoff? He doesn't do anything else well. I mean, he might as well do that. He does that well.
Try that.
Okay, guys. After next year's draft, okay, the next day they'll have a rundown of each player, and you look in there and say, well, they picked this wide receiver. He runs a 4.2 or 4.3. Great punt returner, great kickoff returner. And this is year after year I see this, but where are they?
They always say it, yeah.
You're putting Felix Jones and Dwyer back here to run back? Oh, is that scaring me all to hell? If I'm on the other side of the ball. Jeez, oh man. 10 guys could drop over dead, and the kicker would make the tackle. But I don't know. And I got another question. And the next time I call Bob Pompiani, I want to talk to Nelson And let's say I'm LeBeau. We go. We're going into the draft. Do I get called in? To the meeting? Am I asked what I need, or if we could still maintain the defense that I run? Do I need players? What do I need? Or the offensive coordinator? Do they get invited, or is it just a two-man show? Or maybe a one-man show?
No,
Anybody
they're there.
know the answer to that?
Yeah. Now, how much weight they have with the picks, we'll never know.
It even goes down to the position coaches, because you hear it a lot of times that they'll say, whoever the running back coach is will be, whoever has the loudest voice, the running back coach will be saying, hey, I really need a running back here. And it kind of has to work itself up the chain. And then when it gets to the top, and I'm not exactly sure, I think the coach makes the last decision in this group.
Well, I guarantee you. They will
really
have it, or the GM.
And I think that Cowher was a much better personnel guy than Tomlin is. But I think that's borne out on the
I think
field.
Tom Donahoe is better than any of them. And
Well, I think you're right.
He ain't here
That
anymore.
became an issue. Now, if things would have worked out differently, Tom Donahoe could probably work with Tomlin, and we wouldn't have an issue right now. But Tomlin and Cowher didn't get along, and they had to pick one, and that's what happened.
Yep.
And Tom, you
Well,
gotta remember, Tom Donahoe
I'm just interested, how that goes. Mr. LeBeau is, all everything, which he was. They praise him, and like Thomas said, hey, he's LeBeau, and that's the end of it, about defense. Well, you figured he'd have a big say in it, what's wrong with your defense? Oh, well, what's wrong with it? These guys don't have it. I need this, I need that, and that. I mean, is that how it goes down, or hey, you get what we get you?
Tomlin made a good point at his press conference last week, which they're very few and far between at that thing. But
yeah,
he said that a lot of what you have to look at when you're poor tackling, in that case, is it because they're out of position and that's why they're reaching, and that's really what it looked like. So you can say you're poor tackling, but why are you missing the guys? Why is Troy reaching? Why is it Ryan Clark and their defensive backs are just lousy at it? And a lot of it has to do with, I think that a lot of them now are just too slow to get to the place where they need to get to, because age has just caught up with them.
Well, you wasn't here last week, right? Last Monday, you wasn't here.
Yeah, you
Mike?
weren't. You were at a Highlands game, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, Mike. Okay. Well, I made the statement. We just talking about. I said, I like the college games and that. And they said, well, Missouri should have won that game. I said, well, if they could tackle.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Maybe we should draft their whole team, because they can't tackle. It would fit perfect down here at Pittsburgh.
Yeah, the makings of a good defense, and you always knew when they had their really good defenses, and you could tell early on in the game what kind of a game it was going to be. The first series when the other team had the ball was how crisp was their tackling.
Right.
They don't practice it anymore. They can't.
Right.
They don't teach the proper. It's hard to teach the proper technique when you don't tackle in practice. You only have so many days to tackle in camp, and I think it's showing. And it isn't just them, because if you watch some of these games, some of these defensive backs, especially the DBs, have all kind of trouble with it. And the teams that are going to end up winning, the teams that do the best, are the ones that tackle the best. It's tackling the catch now. It's almost like you let them catch the ball, but you've got to tackle them. You can't get them many yards afterwards, and that's kind of the problem.
Now, I noticed yesterday, I know it's the end of the season, but a couple of our defensive backs and even a couple linebackers stayed away from the tackle, which they could have made. It seemed like they don't want to get hurt, heading towards the end of the season. They don't want to go down with an injury. And I took a double look in maybe 3-4 plays like that.
Yeah.
Where the guy was running past him, they just stood there. They didn't really even reach out. If it had reached out, I said, "Oh, okay, here we go with that reach out."
And the further you fall out of the race, and now these last couple of games they're just playing. You're basically in the love of the game territory now. You'll see a lot more of that too. You're going to see which guys are playing for a contract next year. Or
they got their golf clubs all shined up, and they got their tickets in their hand. They're ready to go.
Yeah, because not too many of them will be going to Hawaii this year.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah, Hawaii. Yeah. All right. Whatever. But all right. Now let's get off of that. Let's get on.
Okay. How would you?
Let's get off.
We're due for a break momentarily. Which way would you like to go with the question?
I just said I haven't done anything yet. Pirates. Everybody, they're all excited. Yeah, okay. Hey, like I said last week, hey, I was real happy after 21 seasons. What they did, but I wasn't satisfied. I wanted more for after the 20 years of misery, and being disgusted with baseball, And it's a shame because I used to love baseball. I played it enough.
Yeah.
You know, I coached it, but and to be disgusted for 20 years, and then we didn't even get into the World Series. I mean, even if they had got there and lost, that would have really satisfied me. And then we lose some players, and we lose one of the best sticks we had on there, which we picked up for a short time, Bird.
Bird,
You
yeah.
know, he was a clutch
Proved
hitter.
to
I
be a
don't
clutch
care. I
hitter.
mean, he came through for us. He won a lot of games. You know, he hit to the right side when he had to. He hit the fly ball when he had to. He got the hit when he had to. You know, not very many guys on the Pirates did that. You know, and I understand he was up in age and he asked for a lot of money, but they didn't replace anybody. You know, now they're talking about Gabby Hayes Sanchez to play first base for the whole year.
Yeah.
The movie was so old,
my
Gabby Hayes
God.
got the girl.
Boy, I said that 2 weeks ago. Wake up, boys and girls. We're going to go back. They gave you your 1 year. And, last week I said that, yeah. And,
1 year in the sun.
I'm afraid you might be right.
Mr. Tampa Bay agreed with me.
I'm afraid you
Well,
might be right.
I'm not going to try 69 and 93 like I did last year. I'm going to ask for a little bit more.
Oh.
Hey, Tony, how about a question? We're getting alerted. We need to go to a
Okay,
commercial
all right,
break.
all right. Let's go to the salami.
All right.
Okay, let me go with number. All right, let's go with number 5.
Number 5, okay. Here is the question for Tony tonight on the Grand Salami, the all-time leader on this program in salami victories.
Thank
and
you.
here it is.
Yeah.
What Hall of Fame manager made the last out in the second game of Johnny Vandermeer's back-to-back no-hitters? This guy ended up being a manager. He's in the Hall of Fame, but he made the last out in the second of Johnny Vandermeer's back-to-back no-hitters. 20 seconds.
The last backup. You mean the last out?
Yeah, the second no-hitter of Johnny Vandermeer, the
Oh,
last
my
out of
God.
the game. And that was against Brooklyn, I believe.
Oh.
So see, I'm giving you a hint.
I'm just taking a wild shot at this one. How about Leo DeRocher?
Oh, my goodness.
Kiss it goodbye.
That's kissing goodbye.
Number 26. Out
Number
of the park.
26.
What a guess.
Oh, my.
That was beautiful.
Oh, brother.
What would that have been, George? 1938? Was that?
Yeah, 1938. I
something
wasn't
like
born
I
that?
believe it's 38, yeah.
You know, but
Merry Christmas, Tony.
Yes.
Good job.
hey, that's great. I got a salami for Christmas.
That's
Ho, ho,
beautiful.
Hey, we got to run. Tony, great hearing from you. Congratulations
Hey guys,
on your win.
really nice talking to you. And Bob's doing the basketball game.
Yes.
Right.
He'll be back
And-
next
He'll be back next week, and I'll be back with him.
Right. So Merry Christmas. Thanks,
All
Tony.
right.
Tony's going to have a salami in his stocking now.
How
That's
about
funny.
that?
That's
Yeah.
great. You knocked that one out of the park. He was going to kiss it goodbye. Yeah. Kiss it goodbye. That's beautiful. All right, we're gonna take our time out now. We have another caller. Please hold on. Promise we'll be right back with you after we get this commercial in. We'll take a break right now, and we'll be back right after this.
This is where you get the absolute freshest deli meats and cheeses. Fazio's Italian Deli in Arnold. At Fazio's, you're getting only the best and freshest selection. Fazio's has its own bakery and offers you fresh baked bread, rolls, pastries, and more. Pick up individual salads to go, Italian sausages, hoagies, custom-made sandwiches, even party trays for your next get-together. Freshness and quality every time at Fazio's Italian Deli, Leishman and Dre in Arnold.
There once was a hungry road that wouldn't let drivers get very far. It wore out their tires, forcing them to buy new ones. Then along came the Michelin Man who proved the right tire changes everything. With long-lasting tires in place, those drivers were back on the road to saving money. Drive longer with the Michelin Defender tire, backed by a 90,000-mile limited warranty. Michelin, a better way forward.
Available at Highland Tire under the bridge in Toronto and Freeport Road in Natrona Heights. Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Westmoreland provides a full range of coverage for all of your automobile needs. Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557.
Our Sportsline Mystery Profile, as always, is sponsored by Mattio's Pizza and Subs in Brackenridge Everything on Mattio's menu is made with quality ingredients, and that could be the reason people proudly pass the word about their great food. They have hand-tossed pizzas, gyros, subs, hoagies, calzones, strombolis, wingdings, and more. And of course, their signature Iron Man hoagie, including all of the great meats and cheeses that they put on that thing. And Paul knows. Paul's sitting in the audience. He's done it before. Mattio's located next to the District Justice's office, Carolyn Bengal, across the river, right next to the Justice office, as I said, in Brackenridge, up there on the main drag, as they like to say, right off of Freeport Road. They're parallel, right there, right before you get to the hospital on your way up, so you know where you're going on the right-hand side. So make sure you get up there and say hi to everybody, and they'll take care of you as always. Anything else that we have here before we?
That's about it for now. We have a
okay.
caller on the line.
Let's do it. Limo Man is waiting. Limo, good evening.
This is the worst economy I've ever seen in my life.
Well, it's up there. And so what do you got for us tonight?
Pirates are interested in Bronson Arroyo.
I've heard this.
Jay Bell left the Pirates.
Yeah, Jay Bell went to the Reds. I don't think I think they drove him to the airport. We like Jay Bell, but I don't know how well that hitting his coaching was doing. He's going to be the bench coach, I guess. Brian Price said when he got hired in Cincinnati that his one have-to-get guy was Jay Bell.
Jay Bell, and he got him.
I think Jay Bell's going to make a heck of a manager someday.
Yeah,
I just thought he might have been miscast as a batting coach.
Yeah. Well, he taught them how to bunt a little better. That was one of his big things when he played.
We have the worst hitting pitchers. And they even had a stat that bore up that they actually did have the worst hitting pitchers in the National League this year. We need to go to the DH or something. I'm nearing the point where I'm going to throw my hands up and say that's it. Then they'd have to pay somebody.
Yeah,
so maybe forget it. Yeah, forget it.
DHs, you know this, Limo Man, DHs are the second highest paying position in baseball.
Yeah, I know that.
One-dimensional player.
And Carlos Ruiz signed a $26 million contract with the Phillies.
Yeah, that was an eyebrow raiser for a lot of Phillies fans, I understand. They thought that was a little pricey, but
Chooch.
They'll have a catcher. Yeah.
Yeah, Chooch. He's starting to slow down a little bit. These catchers don't go on forever. Yeah, they're in an interesting position. I think this is going to be an interesting year for Ruben Amaro out there in Philadelphia. I think if they don't turn things around, he may be in trouble.
I think so. I listen to his show every Saturday.
Does he still have the show in the wintertime too?
Yeah, Saturday afternoon. I'm a big shocker at 12:10.
When Sid Mark's done, right? We got to make sure.
Sid Mark is in the morning.
Right, on Sunday. Sunday morning, yep.
Right, 8 to 1. And his real name is Markowitz.
So there you go. Yes. And he's going to be like 90.
I don't know, but he sure got a collection of Sinatra.
He does.
What is about 54, 55 years, something like
55 years and more commercials than songs.
Yeah.
More commercials than songs. I don't have any trouble selling that show.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Nick Saban renews his deal?
No, I missed that.
Yeah, he renewed his deal at Alabama.
At Alabama. Oh, yeah, he did. He was supposed to go to, they were talking about Texas. And then he made sure that his agent is very good.
Right.
They threw all that out there, and now Texas is looking for a coach. Do you believe for a second that Mac Brown could have stayed? See, I don't.
Yeah, I think the bridges were burned too far, and that's a tough place to coach. So much is expected. Texas, people talk about Notre Dame. Texas has their own TV network too, and it is about as far-reaching as any school's is. So that's not an easy gig down there. Mac Brown had it going for a while there, but they faltered. That 5-7 season, Mike, I think that started the decline.
It did, and this is a very interesting note that can't be denied, and I think this is why he's gone. He passed on the last 3 Heisman Trophy winners: Jameis Winston, Johnny Manziel, and who am I missing the year before that? Another quarterback, Cam Newton?
Newton, right.
The last 3 Heisman Trophy winners, he wouldn't even give them a call back. And they haven't had a quarterback since Colt McCoy got hurt the first quarter of that championship game against Alabama. So there you go. I mean, they have all the advantages down there, and supposedly Jameis Winston wanted to go there badly. Johnny Manziel, obviously, the state of Texas. wouldn't give him a call back, and I think he's paid for it now. I understand that somebody
no-shows last night.
What's that now?
A lot of Steeler no-shows.
It was
Yeah, there were
20,000 limo. I don't know about now. See, we're a little older, so I don't know that I necessarily want to go out and sit in that. But
if we're playing poorly, forget it. But I sat out there a lot of nights when they were doing well. But Limo Man, do you remember a time when they didn't play any night games in the Northeast or the Midwest? Let's say maybe from the second week in November on. It was sort of an unwritten rule in the NFL. You notice when Monday Night Football was much, much more bigger than it is now, they had games in the South and Southwest. Now you don't see that anymore, Limo Man. You know, you see these night games up north, and boy, I don't know how bright that is.
I was lucky I sold 2 50-yard line tickets for $600.
yeah, yeah. These were the type of games back in the 80s that I would get to go to when somebody's dad didn't want to go and sit out in the cold, and then you'd have a this is the type of game I saw Scott Campbell bring them back from a 21-0 deficit against Buffalo,
Wow.
And those are the games I saw when I was a kid.
That's a shame about Goose Goslin passed away.
Yeah, he did. That is too bad.
And Jim Palmer is 68 years old.
Wow, I remember he was 20 years old pitching in the World Series for the Orioles.
1966.
Yeah.
Hey, by the way, where's Bob tonight?
Bob's got a Burrell versus St. Joe's boys basketball game tonight.
Oh, okay.
The schedule's all messed up.
Vogelsong signed a $5 million contract with the Giants.
Going back to the Giants, and I'm just seeing right now that the Pirates were supposedly mentioned in the Eric Chavez possibility, which I thought was really a reach to be a platoon guy because he can't play enough. But supposedly it looks like he's going to go back to Arizona. They're trying to get something worked out by Christmas time. So that would be another guy off the board.
The Phillies got a new pitching coach, Bob McClure.
Bob McClure. I remember him. He was a left-handed pitcher with Milwaukee.
Right, for a while, yeah. Wore number 10, kind of a strange number for a pitcher to wear.
He did, yeah. That was very interesting. He was a good pitcher, though. He was a nice relief pitcher.
Yeah.
The referee last night, was a big man, Ed Huckiley.
Okay, Limo, we about ready for trivia here.
I'm ready. Yeah, I'm due to win.
You're due to win. That's what Tony said too. Tony got to win too. Where would you like to go? You want multiple choice?
Multiple choice.
All right, let's go. Let's have it. This will be number 4. And here we are. What future celebrity did Ted Williams soldier with in the Korean War? What future celebrity did Ted Williams soldier with in the Korean War? Was it Alan?
Oh, we have the wrong one.
Yeah, we have the wrong one.
We need number 4.
Number 4. There we go.
Yeah, that's the one.
What future celebrity did Ted Williams soldier with during the Korean War? Here are your choices, Limo. Alan Alda, John Glenn, Johnny Cash, or Wilford Brimley? Which of those 4 did Ted Williams serve with in the Korean War?
Wilford Brimley?
It is not Wilford Brimley. The answer, a celebrity in his own right, is John Glenn, the astronaut from the great state of Ohio.
Yeah. And William Weir died. Did you know him?
Former senator. What's that?
William Weir, West Jefferson Hills athletic director.
No, I don't know him.
Yeah, he passed away.
Oh, that's...
Yeah, he was the first one when they formed Thomas Jefferson High School in 1958. Yeah, he was there for a good while.
I think Mr. Chirpak has all the roles out there now.
Oh, yes.
He handles everything. Former funeral director, so that tells you, it gets you prepared to be an athletic director, I believe. Works out beautifully. All right, Limo, send us out of here.
Brian Price.
Yes, that's the manager of the Reds, indeed. Okay, Limo, we got to go. Why don't you give us your call here?
All right, it's a long drive in deep right center field, and this one is for the girl I'm going to marry, Rachel Carolano.
There you go.
Right.
Thanks, Limo.
Hits are always to right center field.
They are?
Nothing to left center, and that's an easier poke, isn't it?
Was that just, by the way, was that
Citizens Bank Park?
Was that a proposal?
Could have been.
I don't know.
Let's see how this
pans out. I'm interested to see how this works out. All right, let's take a break and we'll mull over that. We have lines open, 724-236-0430 for those of you watching on streaming here on a Monday night. Give us a call. because you don't want to sit here and watch George and I talk to each other. So back in the day, Joe would yell at you.
Yeah.
He would yell and make you call.
He'd give you a heck over it.
Especially when he was by himself. He would really let you have it. So let's take our commercial break right now. We'll be back with more right after this.
Since 1914, people in the local area have relied on the Resevich family in deepest time of need. The Resevich family is the oldest established name in the funeral profession in the AK Valley. Its reputation and unquestionable service speaks for itself. Now the proud tradition of service continues with a fourth generation. The Resevich family serves the AK Valley from two locations, 5th Avenue Arnold and Leechburg Road, Lower Burrell.
AKLC Studios LLC is the place for your video and multimedia needs. Let AKLC Studios produce a unique television commercial for your business. At your location or in our studios, we're here to meet your needs. Ever want your own television show? Let us show you how. AKLC Studios LLC can even tape your special events and weddings. Whatever your multimedia need, call AKLC Studios LLC in Leechburg today. Professional quality at hometown prices. Don't forget to like us on Facebook.
Welcome to Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, the place for big appetites. Their great sandwich selection includes the Geronimo, piled high with generous portions of meat and fixings. Their barbecue ribs are the best in town. Half rack or full rack, they don't come better. Buffalo Bill's wings are everybody's favorite. Uniquely oven-baked, not deep-fried, and yet so crispy. Your choice of 13 flavored seasonings. Grab a bucket for the big game. Eat in or take out, credit cards accepted. Buffalo Bill's Roadhouse, Freeport Road, New Kensington, across from Felderelli Square.
Drafted betrayal.
Hey, for the last 40 years at Tower Auto Sales in Blawnox, you have had the luxury of choice. Where you buy your vehicle is just as important as what you buy. Call Mike Fanta and let Tower Auto Sales' experienced sales staff help you with the purchase of your next pre-owned vehicle, just like they've done for the past 4 decades. Remember the slogan at Tower Auto Sales, just buy it. That's Tower Auto Sales, Freeport Road in Blawnox. Call 412-828-6202.
Okay, we're going to go to Paul in the audience, but before we do, I want to do a quick Penguin note here.
Yes.
The Penguins are playing Toronto tonight, and they have this rush here. I think they're playing like something ridiculous, like 7 games in 9 days. I don't even know what it is, and they have so many injuries, and now they're lobbing suspensions on top of injuries just to make it fun. That in tonight's lineup against Toronto, Adams, Crosby, Dupuis, Jokinen, Kobasu, and that's iffy, Kunitz, Sutter, Vitale, Niskanen, Mata, Fleury. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of the 20 guys dressed are actual Pittsburgh Penguins. They're on about half Wilkes-Barre, half Pittsburgh.
Now, what do? Do you run longer shifts on the ice, or what do you do?
I probably, and I think the way he's going to do it is he's just, you're going to have more ice time for Crosby. And the good news is that your top line's still intact, because Crosby, he's still going to go with Crosby, Kunitz, and Dupuis at the top line. And I understand that Harry Zolnierczuk's going to be on the second line with Jokinen and whoever they're going to put with and Megna, I believe, because Megna had been playing the right wing with Malkin up there. But Malkin's hurt now. Letang they put on IR today so they could get Zolnierczuk to come back. Don't know how long he's going to be out. Matt Niskanen is the only defenseman. He has over 400 games of NHL experience. The other 5 defensemen they're going to play tonight combined have 37.
So you may see that.
First game for Philip Samuelsson tonight. Ulf Samuelsson's son will play. The first game for him. And of course, when we talk Penguins, it always makes us think of our buddy Paul, who's in the audience tonight, because we know that Paul is such a big Penguin and Mario Lemieux fan.
And how much he likes the regular season.
And how much we love the 82-game exhibition season. Yeah. But I'm not going to make you talk about hockey if you don't want to. Your floor is yours.
Speaking about the Pens, Randy Carlyle and my favorite Penguin goaltender, Greg Millen, is in town. Doesn't Greg Millen do color commentary?
He does games, yeah. He did. He's on either CBC or TSN. I'm not exactly sure.
Yeah, one of the two.
Yeah, because they're both going to be out the window. TSN's gone for sure now because Rogers got the rights. They're going to farm Hockey Night in Canada over to CBC. But they're going to have the last rights on the announcers, and there's questions about Don Cherry yet. I watched Coach's Corner on Saturday night, so I enjoyed that. I love me some Don Cherry. He thought Sean Thornton got too many games. So
Well, Mice is so
no, but here's
surprised
what
to
else
hear
he
that.
said. Now everybody stopped at that when they talked about that today, but there was also something else that he said, and we could talk about this. And that was that what Brendan Shanahan and the league should do right now is say, okay, that's it. And from now on, anything crazy like we saw there in Boston, or any ridiculous hits from behind, we're starting at 20 games, and that's what it's going to be from now on.
It'll be the baseline.
And that wasn't publicized that he said that. And that was, to me, that made a lot of sense. Here's what we're going to do. No more. We're going to start at 20 games, and everybody be a fair warning that this is it and no more.
And I think so many times, by the way, if Don Cherry gets canned, I feel sorry for his clothier. His clothier has made a mint over the
He
years.
had the most, it was a blue jacket with the basically the snowflakes and the Christmas type thing with the white shirt and the light blue. It was awesome. It was one of the best ones I've ever seen on him. And by best I mean worst. If you people haven't had a chance, you gotta. It's unbelievable the stuff that he wears. But and they got it, George. They got to run him thousands for each suit.
Oh yeah.
I mean, heck, unless you're going down to Joseph A. Bank, I don't think you can get 3 for 1 for that.
They'd have the trouble finding the 3.
That's for sure.
Gee, and we thought Lindsey Nelson dressed bad back in the day.
Oh, well, Lindsey Nelson's coats kind of looked like they were like upholstery at funeral homes.
Right.
They kind of what Lindsey's jackets, kind of like Bob Prince, same type thing, But they were bad, but they weren't as crazy and over the top as what Don Cherry wears.
Boy, watching the Army-Navy game the other day, I recall the famous one in 1963 when Lindsey Nelson was breathless. It was the first time instant replay was ever used in a sporting event. It was something altogether new by Tony Verna, who was the executive director of CBS Sports, and they reran a touchdown by a quarterback named Raleigh Stitchway of Army. Now the Navy quarterback, much more well-known, Roger Staubach, but they talked about it before the game and they said, well, let's try this and see what happens. And Lindsey Nelson breathlessly said into the microphone, this is not live, this is not live. And it was something altogether new at the time, and now they have what, 3 or 4 angles?
Right.
And Root Sports will show called third strike 3 or 4 different ways.
With the little box up there to see where the ball crossed. We're not even going to need umpires soon. Speaking of umpires, Paul, you were the home plate collisions. I saw you and Pete Rose and myself are all in the same boat here.
Right. It's like Major will ban double plays. Major will ban throws to first. I mean, they could get injured anyway, so.
They banned something that probably happens a handful of times a year.
Right.
Listen, in a related note, Ty Wigginton announced his retirement because there's no. But my question was, they said they're banning home plate collisions, and my question was, well, then how are you going to knock the ball out of his glove?
Right.
I mean, what?
So
what,
this. So
is this
does
Little
mean?
League?
Yeah. So does this mean in '92 Sid Bream would have been called out?
Now, he slid. That was the problem. Was that after Mike LaValliere ripped up his knee in like 1989, he was never blocking the plate anymore.
Right.
That was the problem, and that's what you're going to have. And now they said we're going to govern, and I saw this. Joe Torre said it. We're going to govern the runner and the catcher. So in other words, catcher, you're going to have to stand off to the side.
Yeah, you can't block the plate anymore.
You know what they need?
Are they going to have an extra line at home plate?
I need 2 plates like they have in softball when they put the extra base next to the other base so there's never an issue. We need 2 plates, one next to each other, and then the umpire's got to stand there and try to figure out or safe. And then if the manager doesn't like it, he'll throw the flag or whatever they do, and we'll have an instant replay.
Oh, God.
Speaking of the replay now, here's another one now while we're at this. I don't know if you saw this, George. They listed, I saw this on MLB the other day, of all the plays that are not going to be reviewable. Any ball, a trap or not trap in the infield. Ball over the bag in the infield. 3-foot lane at first base, not reviewed. Well, then what are you having it for?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, the 3-foot lane can be a big play. If the ball hits the guy in the back and you can't review that, and guys are running around the bases and the guy ran in the wrong place, I mean, it's very, like you said, Root's got a camera pointing down the first baseline. You can see if the guy was in that little lane or not. Right. So you know, they make it like they're we've been behind the technology. Well, you know, some of us kind of like it like that.
Yeah, I didn't have any complaints.
Well, and here's my other question. Are they going to show this stuff when there's say that, you know, the manager says, I'm challenging this call, and we're going to send it to the centralized viewing area in New York or wherever. Are they going to show this on the scoreboard at the stadium now? Because they never showed any controversial plays. Are you going to leave that entire stadium in the dark on what's going on? Yeah. Because I'll tell you what, on the home runs that they challenge now, they don't show.
But they have a chance to put on some more commercials on the Jumbotron.
Right. That might be Frank Coonley will with his new I met Frank on Saturday.
And I think they should add left. I think they should add left and right field umpires, even regular season games.
I'm opposite of you. I don't even think they should have them in the playoffs. I don't understand their usefulness.
Well, they didn't help Minnesota when they played the Yankees in the playoffs.
No.
Some balls that were obviously landing in fair territory.
I think those were good calls. But I don't think there was anything wrong with this. But the biggest one was Richie Garcia in the Jeffrey Mayer game when Jeter hit the home run against the Orioles, and that was back in the 90s.
Baltimore was never the same after that play for about
they didn't get good
14 or 15 years.
Till last year when they had their 1 year like the Pirates.
Yeah. 1 year in the sun.
1 year in the sun. But they weren't, and that was kind of the end of that for them. But that was one that he's standing right out there. How did you miss it? Yeah. You know, what are you putting them there for? If now I guess that's reversed on replay, and we have a different story. But so I don't know. They seem to want to change everything and make it better, but then they're going to eliminate half of the possibilities to review. I don't know.
And my biggest thing is how much more time is this going to put on a game? Right now, if you look on something like baseballreference.com, you look back in the 60s and going into the early 70s, there were rarely 3-hour ball games. The ball games were about 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2 hours and 35 minutes. And I can remember going down there. Now, Steve Blass, his games were like 2 hours and 5 minutes, 2 hours and 10 minutes. And a lot of people in that era, Rick Russell, Bob Gibson was another one. Well, Bob Gibson, you didn't see his pitches. You heard them whizzing by.
Exactly. You basically stood there. Yeah. Well, Joe Garagiola had the best line. He goes, pitching like he's double parked.
Yeah. But now you're not seeing that.
Yeah. No. The games are 3 hours now, and that's an issue. The great thing about hockey is that when they tightened up the rules after they came back from the first lockout, the game is 2.5 hours long. Yeah. You can pretty much plan on when the game's going to be over. Okay, if it goes overtime, then you add about 6 minutes, and if it goes to the shootout, you may go 2:45, and that's it. That's all there is. They don't need to be that. And even the NFL got to the point where they shortened them, and now they're kind of stretching a little bit.
They're going back
some of the replays and the discussions with the officiating there, but that's a complete other story.
Well, Paul, do you like these shorter hockey games? The way the thing is shaking out here, tightening up the game a little bit time-wise?
It seems to be about the same. I like it this way too, so I don't see much difference, even though they are shorter. But they're okay to watch and enjoyable, I think.
Yeah, it's just I just wish there'd be more scoring. That's my only thing. It's scoring's been down, and I think only one or two teams before the lockout averaged 3 goals a game, and that got up to nearly 20 the first year back. And now it's down to about 5 again, and they're going in the opposite direction. So,
well, in the heyday of Jaromir Jagr and Mario Lemieux and Kevin Stevens, you had the Penguins being involved in a lot of 7-6 games, 6-5 games, and you would get behind a couple of goals and you wouldn't think anything of it because you had the firepower to come back. But now the way the game is played, you get behind by a couple of goals. I know Pittsburgh made a great comeback the last time the Penguins played Toronto, but that is the exception nowadays more than the rule.
Right now, 6 teams are averaging 3 goals a game. The Penguins are the 6th team, and they're at 3.03 goals a game. Chicago's number 1 at 3.64, and that's it. I mean, 16. Back in the 80s, teams averaged over 4 goals a game.
Right.
When it was really run and gun back in the Gretzky days, which to me that was the golden era right there. You just didn't have a ton of teams. You were still I think it was 21, of which 16 made the playoffs.
Yeah, so
that's where it came from, the 80 game regular season of exhibitions.
Yeah, as long as we don't have 15 to 7 games every night,
Yeah, well, no, we don't want that either because there's the thing that's going on with the NFL right now. Last Sunday,
In the snow,
were
yeah.
the most touchdowns ever scored in one day in NFL history. Yesterday was the most points ever scored in one day in NFL history. Nobody tackles anymore. It's what Tony was saying.
Right.
So, I
They
mean,
don't practice as much on tackling.
exactly.
Right.
All right,
Time to take a break?
do we need a question for you, Paul?
I think I'm eligible because I
you're
won
eligible?
2 weeks
Yeah,
ago.
I believe you are.
Multiple choice.
All right, you want a
Let's go,
multiple choice, Paul? Here we go. Let's go with number 5 on the multiple choice. And here's your question, Paul. What NFL quarterback completed the most passes in his rookie season? The quarterback in the NFL who completed the most passes in his rookie season. Was it Rick Meyer, Chris Wenke, Peyton Manning, or Ben Roethlisberger?
Peyton Manning?
And you are correct.
Yep.
We have another winner tonight.
Way to go, Paul.
Okay.
Paul gets Peyton Manning tonight, and it's time for a commercial pause, and we'll be back with more on Sportsline Trivia right after this.
Westmoreland Insurance Services isn't like your ordinary insurance agency. Not only can you get a variety of quotes from leading insurance companies, but you can purchase that protection through Westmoreland Insurance. Accidents happen. Are you prepared? You can be with a wide range of homeowners insurance options from Westmoreland Insurance Services, putting your family's safety in their family's hands for almost 40 years. Give them a call, 724-337-3557. My first book on sports is available not only through the internet, but at various local businesses in the AK Valley. It's Bob Tatter's Sports Minutes. Short sports stories, odd and unusual, fascinating and funny, only take about a minute to read. Go online to doubletripplebob.com where links are provided for Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Word Association to get book information. Get your copy locally at Costello Printing in Tarentum, Blackburn's in Tarentum, Myrna's Brewery Outlet in New Kensington, or the Hot Dog Guys Lower Borough.
Hey, don't forget my book, Ali Kiski Sports History, compilation of about a century of sports history in our area. It's available for $19.95. We have 171 photographs among the 50 chapters in the book. Again, it's $19.95, available at Costello's Printing in Trentham, the Hot Dog Guys, Stewart Plaza in Lower Borough, and in the Klingensmith drugstore chain here in Armstrong County, Leechburg, Freeport, Katanning, and Ford City. Ali Kiski Sports History. Think about it as you do your last-minute Christmas shopping.
I'm done. Shopping is done.
I haven't started yet.
You're great. You're like my dad was. Well, here's my thing. My dad worked retail, so it drove him crazy. And he would shop on Christmas Eve on the way out the door.
Ooh.
And he'd get some great bargains, too. But that was always fun. We miss those days, that's for sure. All right, Bob is checking in now on the line right now. Let's talk to Bob. Bob is either at Burrell or at St. Joe's tonight. Where are you, Bob?
I'm at Burrell.
You're at Burrell.
And it's a wild crowd. Believe it or not, with 5 minutes to play in the JV game, it's a 2-point ball game in favor of Burrell.
Bob.
And go ahead.
What if there was overtime?
You remember how Joe and I used to pray anything but overtime?
Bob, you trained me well because I'm the same way now. It's like I want the Chris Warner rule, and that is that it's 7:15 no matter what's happening. Horn sounds and we get started with the regular game. So
Exactly. You know, there's another school of thought to this, and I'm thinking, of course, it would probably take an act of Congress, but any varsity game that's going to be carried with the media, whether it's radio or television, the game that precedes it must end at like 20 minutes before tip-off, no matter what.
I'm for it. I am 100% for it.
I am calling because of the Steelers' victory over Cincinnati, and I just wondered. I caught most of the game until the fourth quarter when my eyelids were about closed on me. But wasn't it a great treat just to be able to beat a team that we love to beat and beat them pretty handily? But what happened to Cincinnati?
That's a great question because they got issues, and I think that, in a quarterback-driven league, like everybody says, that that Andy Dalton, I don't think measures up to the top
He's not
quarterbacks
quite
in this league.
in that upper tier.
But they didn't show up to play last night. They really didn't, and they had everything to gain by it. It was set up for them with the New England loss.
Before.
Yeah, that they could have moved themselves into second place in the conference. They could have set themselves up for a bye.
Have that first round bye the first weekend.
And now winning the division's not even for sure, because I think I'm telling you right now that if you have to ask me right now who I think's going to the Super Bowl out of the AFC, I think it's Baltimore.
You could be right.
And you don't want to, and Kansas City's playing well again, aren't they, too? They've gone crazy.
They've got their little fun.
Exactly. So I just can't buy Denver right now. But I can't buy the Bengals either. With that coach and that quarterback, I don't see it happening. And that's just a game that they really should have won last night.
They had everything to play for. Hey, Bob, how's the revamped Burl Gym look?
Oh, fantastic. First of all, for those, it was almost like the 20 years, of course, it's been longer here at Burl, but the 20 years the Pirates were under 500. Not that Burl ever promised they were going to revamp the gym, but at least you can hear the public address announcer before the game, doing his thing and doing it, nicely. But the gym looks great. They've redone, the floor. By the way, that round of applause is because Burrow's back on top by 2.
Good.
And by the way, how would you like to be a Dallas Cowboy fan?
The worst coach in the NFL is Jason Garrett, in my opinion. And he proved it again yesterday. And I feel, I kind of feel bad for Romo because he does gag at the end of these games. But they can't throw him under the bus like that. There were tire tracks on the poor kid.
And Jason Garrett, he was for how long the coach in waiting? You thought he was going to be one of the greatest coaches going because he seemed to have trained for it for so long.
Yeah, the reason he's the coach is because Jerry knows he can tell him what to do, and that he will not have anybody that can butt heads with him ever again. He did it with Jimmy Johnson. He tried it one more time with Parcells. That's it. Yeah. And that's what you're going to get with the Cowboys from now on. The greatest thing, the most entertaining aspect of the Dallas Cowboys is they have no idea they're dysfunctional.
Yeah, they don't.
Yeah.
Like the Pirates used to be.
One of my younger son's favorite teams when he was a kid was Seattle because of Jim Zorn and Steve Largent.
Great teams, too.
And I know he's still kind of fond of them, but how about Seattle this year? Gee whiz.
Boy, they look like the team.
They are. They're the only team, to me, that I can say I have confidence in that is a Super Bowl caliber team. And I think San Francisco might be, but you never know. Kaepernick's been iffy over there. But they're the team that seems to be the most complete. And much like in college, they've been the best team since the first day. Much like Florida State's been the best team since the first day. And you hate to go against a team like that. And I think Baltimore would give them a run if they got there because they've already won it one time. But I think Seattle's the odds-on favorite to win the whole thing. All right, Bob. I guess we're going to let you go now because we got to go too.
Oh, I'm not even looking at the time. Hey, thanks. No question for me tonight, huh?
No, I was going to say.
Hey, we've had 2 winners, Bob. You should get a question.
I was afraid you might know the answer.
Hey, you know what? We're down to 2 minutes for the tie game. In the JV game, they're just, it's like alley ball, one end of the court to the other.
Hey, Bob, before you go, what is the replay time? So confusing, these replay times. How about this Burl St. Joe's game for those of you watching live? When will that be replayed?
All right, let me get my schedule out of here and my glasses. Tonight's game is going to be shown on Wednesday the 18th, which is a day before this replay of the show tonight that you're doing.
There you go.
Okay. We'll be tuned in.
At 9:30 at night.
Perfect.
Okay. Hey,
all right,
so
Bob.
much,
Thanks a lot. Appreciate you calling.
The Mars Valley game is on at 8, and then St. Joe's at Burrow will follow. Hey, guys, I know you're running late. Thank you for the time.
Gotta go. Thanks,
all right.
Bob.
All right.
George.
Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for tuning in. Have a great evening.
Good night.
Thank you for watching Sportsline, brought to you by Ace Hardware, New Kensington, AKLC Studios in Leechburg, Arnold Furniture, 5th Avenue, Buffalo Bills, New Kensington, Fazio's Deli and Meats in Arnold, Highland Tire, Toronto and Natrona Heights, Mattio's Pizza and Subs, Brackenridge Heights, Resevich Family Funeral Homes, Lower Borough in Arnold, 380 Discount Warehouse, Murraysville, Tower Auto in Blawnox, and Westmoreland Insurance Services of New Kensington.